Straight from New Jersey, it's SNL Nerds, the show where two comics from New Jersey nerd out about Saturday Night Live. I'm your co-host, Darren Patterson.
And I'm your co-host, John Trumbull.
John Trumbull, how are you, good sir? Happy 4th of July when this episode comes out.
Yeah, this is our closest episode to the 4th of July, which is happening on a Thursday this week. Yeah. So this will be dropping on the 1st of July.
Yes.
So, yes. Yeah, we're recording this a little early because of our summertime scheduling stuff.
That's right, because it's summertime. We're both on the road, enjoying life. Because we're people on the go, folks. We're men about town. We're just everywhere and anywhere, just jet setting across this beautiful country of ours. So we can't be locked down to one place.
Yeah, so, I was like, I want to go to another place and stay indoors as much as possible because I am a very pale man. I sunburn easily. I never go through a tanning stage. I just walk outside during a heat wave. I burst into flames. I'm like the Human Torch.
Exactly. Flame on.
So it is best for me to stay indoors as much as possible.
Yes,
and avoid the skin cancer.
Exactly. Or if you go out, you have to kind of be dressed like a beekeeper, just like covered from head to toe and like a hazmat suit.
And also, if you go out, you have to like see people and interact with people, and oh my God, that's exhausting. Yeah. Have you done that?
I've tried. Like somebody said hello, and I was like, oh God.
Yeah, and then I curl up like an armadillo and I just roll away. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. But happy summer, everyone.
Yeah, we're really fun people. Invite us to your party.
We really are. We really are. We do have fun. Yes. We do have fun.
Yes, we are a hoot.
Yeah. So,
speaking
what's going on in the world of comedy? What's going on? You were saying, speaking of.
I was going to go into the movie, but before we go into the movie, we should talk about an unfortunate passing that happened just this weekend. We lost the late great Martin Mull on Thursday, and wow,
that's sad news. He was 80. I didn't realize he was, he was quite that old, and I don't think they released the cause of death. They just said like he passed after a long illness. But yeah, I always liked Martin Mull. He's been in a couple movies we've covered on this podcast, Clue and Futile and Stupid Gesture, and I thought he was great in both.
Yeah, he was one of those guys, one of those comedians where like I don't think like maybe like the mainstream knew him. He wasn't like on that level, but like like he was like a comedian's comedian. Like if you were a comedy nerd, you knew. Respected Martin Mull from
he wasn't necessarily a household name, but I mean he sustained a career really well. I think he first became known for Fernwood Tonight, where he was on with Fred Willard, and
that show I still have to like get into. Like I never this might hurt my comedy nerd cred, but I never really watched Fernwood Tonight.
It was just a shade before our time, Darren. Don't beat yourself up about it.
But no, if I want to call myself a comedy nerd, I have to have watched Fernwood Tonight.
Okay, all right. Okay.
I remember.
I don't know if Fernwood Tonight is like streaming anywhere, or if it's even been released on.
I looked it up.
Media.
I can't find. I remember it being like years ago. I remember it being on Nick at Night when I was like a kid. Okay. And then after that, it just kind of disappeared. And I looked it up. And I tried to find no streaming anywhere. Is that streaming anywhere? There's like clips of it on YouTube, but that's about it.
So so it's fallen by the wayside a little bit.
Little bit.
Yeah, it's tough to watch. I mean, it's and that happens if media is not on streaming these days. For most people, it doesn't really exist.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying that's how it is. Like I was very excited because like just a week or two ago, David Simon announced that they've apparently finished all the necessary musical clearances for Homicide: Life on the Street to come to streaming.
Nice.
The musical clearances tend to hold up those things a lot. So
like the same thing happened with the State when they tried to
with the State, because that was on MTV. They used a lot of music. Daria was another one. I know WKRP in Cincinnati had a lot of trouble with the music clearances. Shout Factory was able to
Yeah.
clear up, I think, about 90%, but there are still like some very famous rock songs by
Yeah.
like some big artists like Pink Floyd or whatever that they just couldn't use. Because
Yeah.
my understanding is that the contracts on these, you could use the song, but you could only use it for a limited time, and they didn't think of like clearing it for future media that didn't even exist. Like with WKRP, people weren't even issuing TV shows on VHS yet,
Right.
and DVDs and Blu-rays and Laserdisc, all that stuff didn't exist. So nobody anticipated that there'd be a need to do that. So they have to negotiate it all over again, basically.
Yeah. Who could have seen it coming?
Who could have seen it coming?
Yeah.
Now I think it's more of a standard thing where it's like if you clear a song, you clear it for a lot longer, or you clear it forever, and you can clear it for future media.
Yeah, I think so. But back to Martin Mull. But yeah, so for with tonight, of course, most people remember him as Colonel Mustard in Clue, which we did an episode of.
Big cult film, yeah.
Big cult film. I guess like the younger people probably remember him as Gene Parmesan on Arrested Development.
Yeah. He also popped up on a few episodes of Community in, I think it was the 6th season, and he reunited with his Clue co-star Leslie Ann Warren.
Nice.
And they played Britta Perry's parents, which I thought that was kind of cool. And they were good casting for Britta's parents.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And he was also on a few episodes of Veep too, not too long ago.
Yeah, I mean, good career. He's one of those guys who was just like working steadily for decades on end because he was really good at what he did. And you were saying like when he passed, you looked up, you were like, did he ever host SNL? And it turns out he didn't.
That's a crime. That is a crime. Somebody should be arrested, taken away to the Who's Gal right now.
Yeah, that's a shame because I bet that would have been really funny.
Yeah, so absolutely. But I don't know. Rest in peace, Martin Mull. Rest in peace, good sir.
Yeah, and I really liked him as the older Doug Kinney, basically narrating a Futile and Stupid Gesture, which I really loved. I thought that was a great movie.
Yeah, folks, go back and I still think that movie's underrated. So, folks,
I agree. Yeah,
watch that movie. Listen to our episode about it. Listen to our episode where we interview the writers. And trust me, Martin Mull gave a great performance in Stupid and Futile Gesture. Just if you haven't watched it by now, we implore you to go check it out.
Yes. In fact, I'm going to go one further. I implore you to watch A Futile and Stupid Gesture, and I implore you not to watch the movie we're covering this week, A Good Old-Fashioned Orgy.
Ooh, here we go. All right, let's get into it.
Yeah.
All right. So, we're talking about.
I did not like this movie, Darren. I don't know if you did. Neither one of us had seen this before, right?
No, never. I heard about it, but I'd never seen it. I thought it was okay. I thought the movie was okay. But
I did not.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going to get a little spicy this week, I think.
Oh dear. All right. Oh, Mamma Mia. Okay. All right. So let's talk about Good Old Fashioned Orgy. Written and directed by Alex Gregory and Peter Hike. They're a writing duo that they actually originally wrote on Letterman. They've written on Veep.
I saw they wrote for the Larry Sanders Show too.
Yeah, and I think they most recently wrote on White House Plumbers, that miniseries with Woody Harrelson and Justin Theroux. And this is
I haven't seen that. That was about like the Watergate and the Nixon break-in and all that, right?
Yes. And this is the first film they've ever written and directed. Came out Labor Day weekend, September 2nd, 2011. Had a budget of $5 million, only made 1.4. So I believe that's what's referred to as a bomb in the industry.
Yeah, that is a flop. So this is a movie. I believe it's streaming on Amazon Prime right now. I watched it on Tubi, which is the free service. Yeah. And I was looking forward to this because I was like, oh, well, hey, it's Jason Sudeikis. I like the Jason Sudeikis. It's got other people I like in it, like Leslie Bibb and Martin Starr and Lindsay Sloan, who's sort of She's an actress I find underrated. She's popped up in a lot of stuff. I first saw her. She was like Sabrina's best friend on the Sabrina the Teenage Witch sitcom, and
Yeah,
she
yeah.
plays like a lot of best friends or the other girl or something like that. So she's like a steady supporting actress. But
Yes,
I think
absolutely.
she's great, and I enjoy her when I see her pop up and stuff.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Will Forte is in there for a little bit.
Yep,
Um,
for a hot
yeah,
minute.
Tyler
David
Levine,
Koechner. David
Keckner.
Koechner is like a one scene wonder in this.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, his scene I thought was wow,
That was something. Yeah, yeah.
powerful, powerful stuff. Um,
Okay, that's the nicest way to put it. Yeah.
yes, your mother's a good woman. Oh, you go. Well, we'll explain that little later
Yeah,
down the road.
yeah. Well, I guess we'll get to the context of that.
But yeah, I mean, the film is pretty simple. It's about a group of friends in their
Mhm.
30s. They've known each other since high school, and
Yes,
the leader, I guess, is this guy Eric, played by Jason.
he's the lead wolf of the wolf pack, as they say.
Arr!
Yeah,
And yeah, so they all live in New York City, and they all have jobs, except for I guess Mike, played by Tyler Levine, who just kind of
yeah.
bums about. But like every summer, they get together at Eric's dad's house in the Hamptons and just party all summer. So the movie starts. It's July 3rd. Everybody's looking at the clock.
Hmm.
It's quitting time, and then they all go to Eric's dad's house
It's a
in the
beach house,
Hamptons.
and it's like in the Hamptons somewhere, I think.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
And
yeah. The
yeah, and
movie's
they
shot
always
in
like
North Carolina. It's shot in Wilmington, North Carolina, which is they shoot a lot of TV there. I believe Dawson's Creek was shot there because
oh
it
really?
could pass for the Hamptons.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but they do a lot of production stuff in North Carolina.
Okay. Yeah, maybe they get like tax breaks and stuff.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Probably. Yeah. And so every summer they have this big, huge blowout. Of course, the 4th of July, we see here they're having something they call the White Trash Bash,
Hmm.
which is
Hmm.
everybody just dresses up like uh, white trash.
White trash. Yeah, they got the trucker hats. They got the T-shirts. There's smoking while you're pregnant. That sort of thing. Everybody's wearing mullet wigs.
Yeah.
I've never attended one of these parties. I've seen some friends of mine who have had some of these parties. So
Oh,
yeah,
really?
it's a thing. It's a thing.
Oh,
And apparently this is something that the writers uh, of of the film did a lot. They would have, I saw on IMDb trivia, the parties that inspired the film are based on those thrown by co-director writer Peter Huyck in and around his Southern California home. These bashes have included Trekkie, pirate, and jailbreak themes, where Huyck and up to 100 guests take over venues and don costumes from Star Trek gear to prison jumpsuits. So,
interesting. I All right. That's okay. I can get down with that. I don't know. I don't know. I think I'm trying to think about like what party I would like to go. Maybe like a
it would
'70s theme party. Like
it would depend on the theme. Yeah.
yeah,
So some would be more fun than others. I think Trekkie would be a lot of fun because I'm a Star Trek fan, and there's a wide variety of stuff you can do on that.
yeah,
Of course, parties like this can also be a big investment because you have to put together like a big costume or something. So,
yeah. I'd probably come as like somebody from Star Wars and just piss everybody off.
well, that's just kind of a dick move.
I know. I thrive in chaos, John.
Yeah.
I want to start shit. Grr.
Yeah, so we see the party, and we're thrown into it. We kind of have to sort of pick up everybody and their relationships on the fly. We got Jason Sudeikis as Eric. I think this cast is so big. I think I'm just going to call everybody by their real name,
Yeah, that's fine.
unless I don't know them. So we got Jason Sudeikis as Eric. Will Forte is getting married to Lucy Punch,
Right, but
who
they already have a kid.
they already have a kid. Yeah, they already have like a young baby. I think that's what the young kids are called, babies.
Young
Is that right?
babies.
Yeah,
Yes, as opposed to old babies. Yes.
baby sounds right. Yeah. What are those little people that you like push around in strollers and you carry them around? It seems like a lot of work.
Yeah.
I don't get the appeal personally, but
Not for me.
not for me. We got Nick Kroll playing the movie's designated uptight guy.
Yeah, he's like,
And you know this because, like, in his opening scene, when everybody's getting ready to go to the party, he like drops a bit of food on his white shirt, and then he opens up a desk drawer, and he's got a stack of white shirts.
he's that guy
because he's all uptight.
Yeah,
he needs to loosen up.
He needs to party down.
I mean, you can pretty much guess his entire character arc just from that one scene, right?
Yeah,
you got the title of the movie, A Good Old Fashioned Orgy, and it's like the really uptight guy, and it's like, oh, he's going to be really good at orgying, I bet.
Using it as a verb?
Sure.
Okay. All right, I'm with you.
We got Lindsay Sloan. She's a school teacher, so she's also kind of uptight.
Yeah.
Gee, I wonder if the two uptight people are going to end up together.
Uptight, they're going to be all right.
So yeah, at this party we see Will Forte. He's going nuts. He's going down a slip and slide.
Oh, covered in 40-ounce malt liquor.
Right. Like and they say he's a doctor, and you're momentarily horrified.
Oh my god. Doctor.
Who else we got? We got Lake Bell. She's a therapist.
Yeah, she's dating some drip named Marcus.
Yeah, he's this German douchebag thing. Although honestly, I thought everybody in this movie was a douchebag.
Wow. All right.
I found everybody in this movie to be like a douchebag to one degree or another.
Okay. All right.
I did not like any of these characters. I was not really rooting for any of these characters. Like about halfway through, I was like, I don't fucking care if any of these assholes have an orgy or not.
Wow. Jesus. All right.
Like as the movie went on, I progressively liked it less and less. So.
All right. Okay. Well
not good. Not good, people.
This might be a short episode, guys.
It might be.
Okay, but yeah.
Who else we got? We got Martin Starr.
Yes, Martin Starr plays Duquesne, who's like this guy who's trying to be a musician.
Aspiring rock star.
Rock star, and he has a girlfriend, Willow.
Yeah.
But he's also like very indecisive. Like the whole thing is like he doesn't know how his album cover is supposed to look. And
yeah, he's like, should I have a hat? Should I not have a hat? I mean, that's a really relatable problem that we can all.
You remember.
Yet. I mean, we've all been there.
Yeah, you remember like when we took the picture for the SNL Nerds icon on the website where I was deciding, should I wear a hat, should I not wear a hat?
Were you deciding that?
Sure. I was like, hat, no hat, pirate hat.
We really should revise that because it is a little out of date now because since we've taken that, I've started wearing glasses on a more regular basis. I wear a pair of readers, and I think it would be good for branding purposes if we were both wearing glasses in the photo because it ties in with the nerds thing.
Okay,
but next time we get together, we should take a new photo and update that a tad. Because
let's do it. Working on branding, love it.
It's like 5 or 6 years old now. It's probably time.
It's time to spruce things up.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and and I think, and then we have Sue, who doesn't have much of a personality.
Which one was Sue? Oh yeah, that was the dark-haired lady who I didn't know.
Yes, her thing was that her and Eric used to date back in high school, but they never went all the way.
That was Michelle Borth, who I don't really know.
Yeah, that's a cool last name.
Borth, yeah.
So they're partying hardy. Eric hits on Leslie Bibb's character, Kelly. At the what was it, like a toilet filled with bean dip, which Eric thought would be a lot more funnier than it actually looks.
Yeah, people are not going near the toilet bean dip, oddly enough.
Go figure.
Yeah, but he meets Leslie Bibb, and Leslie Bibb, she's wearing like one of the mullet wigs. She's pregnant in there, and then like when he meets her again later in the movie, he doesn't recognize her, even though she just looks like Leslie Bibb in a wig. I mean, she's still very recognizable. Yeah,
that part was kind of weird. Like I thought, like because like they do meet after the party, and you get the sense like, oh, he remembers her and she remembers him. But then later on,
it takes him like a few scenes to remember her, and he says he was drunk, but he doesn't. He's not like sloppy drunk. He's very articulate. He's flirting with her. He's carrying on a conversation. Yeah, and it's like, really, you don't remember meeting a woman who looks like Leslie Bibb?
I mean, come on, man. What are we talking about here?
She is a very objectively pretty woman, and I don't know, but
Hey now. Yeah, and they get along, just flirting. He gets her number, but it washes off when he jumps in the pool. And
yeah,
then he never
because it's a
calls her.
wild party.
Yeah, that's how you
Yeah.
know parties get crazy, when somebody jumps in the pool with their clothes on. That's the
Yeah,
signature
and
of
before
wild
that,
party.
his friend Mike jumps into the pool naked.
Yeah, because he's a wild man. I mean,
He's the party animal.
yeah, I mean Tyler Labine. He's been in some stuff here and there, but he always kind of struck me as like a kind of like bargain bin Jack Black a little bit.
Yeah,
He
I
has
think
like
that's fair. I'm vaguely familiar with him. I don't think I've seen him in a lot of stuff, and I don't want to judge him just based on this movie. But again, thought his character was a total annoying douchebag. So,
yeah, it's a fun.
but maybe Tyler Labine has been in other things that I would love. I know he was in Tucker and Dale versus Evil, which I know is a movie that has a big cult following. So maybe he's great in that. Maybe he's wonderful in everything else he's ever done, and he was just badly written and directed in this.
Let's see. What else was he in? Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Oh wow.
Okay.
He's on
I'm guessing playing an ape. I don't know.
He's on a TV show New Amsterdam. I remember him. He was on this one show on the CW called like Reaper that I thought was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think it had like Ray Wise in it too, but I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway,
he jumps into the pool naked, and when Sudeikis jumps into the pool naked, he also takes the BlackBerry of Nick Kroll's character.
Yes,
and that drives Nick Kroll nuts because he's the uptight guy. He's the corporate guy. He's ugh.
Oh God! Oh boy! Yeah. So the next day, everybody's hungover and whatnot, and then we see Eric's dad pull up to the house, played by Don Johnson,
an uncredited Don Johnson.
Yeah, I mean he's only in the movie in this one scene. He's not in it.
Yeah, but he is uncredited for his role. So yeah.
Right. So he comes by, checks on the house. Eric's like, "Oh, hey, Dad, how's it going?" And he says, "Oh yeah, I just want to let you know, I sent you emails about it, but I'm gonna go ahead and sell the house. Like I'm barely out here, and it's just time to let go." And Eric's like, "Oh no, not the house!
No, I'm a 30-year-old man child, and I use this house to party." and so they're looking to sell it by the end of the summer. The movie starts on July 3rd, and they figure they're probably going to be out by Labor Day. So it's like we're going to have a big blowout.
Yes, exactly. And they're trying to think of themes for the blowout. They kind of get the idea when Laura, the teacher, talks about how kids now have like sex bracelets on, and
where each color denotes a different sexual act. Like blue means BJ's, and this means this other thing, and yeah,
absolutely. So then
I think, wasn't that like kind of discredited as like an urban myth?
I don't think so. I thought that was an actual thing.
Okay,
is it not?
I've read conflicting things on that. Yeah.
All right. Well,
I don't know, and I'm so far removed from that, and I'm not even in the teaching world like Lindsay Sloan's character is. So, maybe it's a thing, maybe it's not a thing. I have no idea.
All right. Teachers, call in. Let us know what's up with these kids today. So through the bracelets thing, then they talk about these kids today, and how they're probably out here having all the sex and sex parties and whatnot. And then they kind of get to talking about how like their generation kind of got screwed out of that because like they grew up in the 80s when AIDS was a huge thing.
Yeah, they said AIDS hit right when we hit puberty. That hit home for me because I remember when AIDS hit the national news, it was 1985 and I was literally turning 13. So that spoke to me. I was like, yeah, AIDS hit when I was 13. Just when you're like, starting to get really interested in the opposite sex, and like, hey, I think this. I hear good stuff about this sex thing.
Word around town is
I might want to try that someday. People seem to enjoy it.
Right. Yeah, no, but that hit hard for me too because like I remember like around that time when the AIDS crisis hit, and like they made it sound like sex was like a terrifying thing. It's like, oh, don't do it,
Hmm.
your wiener will fall off or whatever. And they
Yeah,
did
I
make
mean, because
yeah, I would say that
in
they
the
did
early
make a
days of
point.
AIDS, it was a death sentence. Now I think there are enough medicines and things like that that you can live a long, fulfilling life, and while still being HIV positive, you just have to take certain precautions. That's my understanding. But back then it was just like, yeah, you got to use a condom every time out, and you
Yeah,
can't do
can't.
that indiscriminate 70s style
Yeah,
sex and
none of that raw dog
wife
shit.
swapping. You can't have your big ice storm key parties anymore, people.
Damn it,
Yeah.
son of a bee sting.
Sorry, Kevin Kline and Sigourney Weaver, not this time.
Not today, Kevin.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they said based on that, because they're talking about how the generation before them, 60s and 70s, free love, key parties, and then
Hmm.
now the generation after them, that had the sex bracelets, but their generation got screwed out of that. So they said like, let's remedy that right now. Let's just have a good
Right.
old
Right.
fashioned orgy.
And meantime, part of the reason they decide on this, that because every party has to have a theme, is they are expecting the house to sell by the end of the summer. And then we meet Leslie Bibb again when she's looking like everyday Leslie Bibb. She's Kelly Tanner, who's the realtor, along with her mother, who is what was her character name?
Dodie.
Dodie. Yeah, I knew it was something with a D. And I recognized her. I was like, I think that was like the older friend from There's Something About Mary, the lady who had the really brown tan.
Oh,
And I
wow,
and
you're
I
right.
looked her up, and yeah, she's been in like all the Farrelly brother movies. Her name's Lynn Shay, and yeah,
Oh,
so I recognized her from that. I think she's best known for her part in There's Something About Mary, where she has this like huge, way too dark tan.
yeah, yeah. Wow, you're right. Wow, she was in the original Nightmare on Elm Street. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, had an incredible career. Like 80 now, which I was like, wow.
Wowzers.
Um, so
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
but yeah, and Sudeikis doesn't recognize Leslie Bibb, even though
Yeah,
he like talked to her for several minutes.
yeah, that was a little weird. Like, I mean, I
That
guess he
was
played it
weird.
off like, oh yeah, I was so drunk, like I don't remember. But at the
But
same,
yeah, it doesn't have
he
a like
didn't.
big payoff or anything. So it was just kind of
Yeah,
like, well, why'd you do that?
yeah, that was weird. I mean, that's the one thing I will say about this movie. Like, there doesn't seem to be a lot of, yeah, like there are things like that, like you mentioned, where there was like they do things, but doesn't really have a
Hmm.
huge payoff, and there doesn't seem to be a lot of like conflict in this movie
Yeah,
either.
there aren't really any stakes. It's
Yeah,
just
it's
um, it's not like it's not like Sudeikis is going to be homeless if the house is sold, and he has to find a new place to live. He's just losing his weekend party place because he talks about having a one bedroom in the city.
yeah.
So it's tough to sympathize in that regard. We're just losing our party place, and we have to grow up because we're like 30,
Yeah, it is kind of
even though
like,
they're all played by like 35-year-olds.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, suspend disbelief, man. Theater of the mind. But yeah, it is kind of first world problems
Yeah.
throughout, and like all the stuff that does where you think there's going to be conflict, it doesn't really there isn't any conflict. Like I thought, like the main conflict was. I'll skip ahead here a little bit. Like
Yeah,
after
go ahead.
uh, Kelly and Eric, Leslie Bibb and Sudeikis, get together and start
Right.
dating, and they really like each other. I
Yeah.
thought the main conflict was, well, he can't tell her about the orgy he's planning,
Right.
and like because
That would be a deal breaker for a lot of people. Yes.
I would assume so. I would assume so.
Yeah, and
Or
like when Sudeikis first pitches the idea to his group of friends, and it's like about 8 of them. There are 4 women, four dudes, so numbers match up.
man,
Like literally, like Sudeikis and his friend Mike Tyler Labine, or Labine, whichever it is, Labine, I think. They pitch it, and like literally only one person in the friend group is into it, and it's Susan.
yeah, and that's mainly because she kind of still pines away for Eric.
she has this unresolved crush on Eric because they dated in high school, but apparently they never had sex. Right. So it's like unfinished business, they say.
Right. Unfinished business.
Yeah.
Boning. So the one person is in, and so they have to talk to the rest of the people, to all the rest of the friends to be down with it too. Allison agrees to do it, but like only after her and her boyfriend Marcus get into a huge fight.
And, Allison's Lake Bell's character, the German douchebag, he breaks up with her after she shaves her vagina.
Yeah, I mean, what? Come on, man, what's the problem here?
That's an odd deal breaker.
Yeah, she did that for you. What are you talking about?
I don't know if it's supposed to be a European thing or if it's just he's an irrational douchebag thing. It's very vague.
Yeah. Like throughout the movie, he's kind of played as like a kind of pompous guy. Like he doesn't really. He goes to the party because his girlfriend dragged him there, but he doesn't really interact with everybody else. He doesn't.
At the white trash party, they're like, "Oh, wait, put on a wig," and he's like, "Well, I'm sorry, I can't laugh at the plight of America's lower class," and so he's a very pretentious and.
I do not find the theme of this party amusing.
Like in most movies, he would be like the jerk that she's dating, and our sympathies are with the group of friends. But I was like, but all the main group of people are jerks too. I know. Yeah. I wasn't really rooting for anyone in this movie. I was rooting for Leslie Bibb for a good part of it because I find her a very likable performer. But this is still the era where Jason Sudeikis was playing jerks a lot. It's a pretty Ted Lasso Jason Sudeikis.
Yeah, he played a lot of charming rascals in his life.
Yeah. And I mean, here it tips over more into the douchebag territory. I'm using that word a lot, I know, but...
Yeah, no, hey, man, go for it.
Yeah.
All right, but so then after Allison and her Marcus break up, there was a funny moment where like they're screaming and everybody in the house can hear them, and she just storms into the bathroom and locks herself in, and then screaming at Marcus, and then they break up. But like while she's in the bathroom, Adam, Nick Kroll's character, is also in the bathroom taking a dump or taking a wee.
He's sitting on the toilet, and then the big punchline is, the ironic thing is I'm just peeing right now. Because he's so uptight, I guess. He has to sit down to pee.
As we all do. Standing up for that? I mean, come on, man. My knees.
Okay.
So there's that, and then I think, and also Duquesne like slowly warms up to doing the orgy. Asks his girlfriend if he would do it with him. Because
he's hesitant because like he's in a committed relationship with Willow. But then but like his friends are razzing him. They're like, well, you want to be a rock star, be a rock star. You're like, you think Mick Jagger ever wussed out on an orgy? No, he's diving in there. He's doing his Mick Jagger thing.
That's right. Cheating on Bowie and whatnot.
Yeah. I don't know. Did it feel like half the dialogue in this movie was like improvised?
Yeah, a little bit from time to time. I mean, I found it enjoyable enough, but like it didn't. It kind of maybe seemed to lack urgency. Maybe that's the word.
It had a lot of the dialogue had that sort of meandering Judd Apatow sort of thing where it's like, we're just going to let the actors riff.
Yeah,
and a little of that goes a long way because like if you do too much of that, scenes just don't hang together very well, and it just and it feels kind of lazy. And this is one of the movies where it felt kind of lazy. It can be very funny because you can get unexpected material, but I think you have to. When you're doing that, you have to use it sparingly and you have to edit judiciously. And
like it wasn't full on like Mark Duplass mumblecore or whatever it was.
Right.
But it's tiptoeing towards there.
Yeah. And it wasn't. None of the riffs were quite as funny as they should have been, in my opinion. So. Yeah,
I hear you.
So I think it was around the time that Martin Starr was like, "Hey Willow, do you want to be in this orgy?" And she's very agreeable. She just agrees very easily. There's no real
conflict again.
No real conflict. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like everyone gradually agrees to it, but everybody, there's not much conflict. Nobody's like, no, I don't want to do the orgy. Everyone just kind of comes around one by one for their own little reasons.
It's weird. I mean, I guess I understand because like when you first hear it,
Uh-huh.
you instinctively, that's the word,
Yeah.
are like, no, I don't want to, because you don't want to see if your friends
Well,
have
also it's like,
that.
you've known each other for 15 years, and
Yeah,
it's a weird thing
it's
to ask, but
weird.
yeah, most everybody gets on board with it pretty quickly without much
Like, oh,
resistance.
yeah, it's like, I don't. You're gonna see your old friend's wiener. Like, that's no one wants that.
Yeah, it's
That's weird,
it's
man.
an
I don't know.
atypical thing. I don't know. I don't know what they were going for in this movie.
They were kind of. I mean, it seemed like they were trying to go for a little bit of raunchy, but also like a little bit of
Hmm.
heartfelt, heartwarming
Yeah.
thing too. But like,
Well,
I
that's
don't
the
know.
other thing is like beat by beat, I found this just so predictable. It's like, yeah, of course somebody's going to catch feelings, and and that's exactly what happens. And somebody's going to wimp out, and that's what happens.
Right.
And
Wait, who went that? Who went that? I don't think anybody did.
well, okay, I'm jumping ahead, but Will Forte and Lucy Punch,
Oh, right. Yeah. Because
because they're the married couple. We see their wedding. They get married. By the way, groomsmen are hideously dressed in all white tuxedos with top hats, which looks just awful.
right, but I think that was their idea that because like Will Forte's character seemed upset. It was like, oh, why are you like you were supposed
Right.
to dress in a black tux, but you decided to go this all white route,
Right.
and
Again, asshole move.
it's
It's your
yeah.
friend's wedding, and presumably you're a groomsman. Don't show up and surprise him in your own thing. That's not charming. That's
Yeah,
just being a dick.
yeah, I'll give you that. That was kind of a dickish thing to do. And
Yeah.
yeah, and then at the wedding we see Adam Nicrole's character pull up. He's super drunk because apparently he got fired because Sudeikis destroyed his BlackBerry, and that kind of messed
When he
up a
jumped into
deal.
the pool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when he jumped in the pool, and that messed up a deal they had with like I guess like the Chinese or something like that, and
Yeah.
some big people, and that cost him his job. But
Like even in 2011, don't you have that shit backed up to the cloud or something?
the cloud was a thing back in 2011, right?
Yeah, I feel like I don't know. I just how do you lose that? Yeah, you have to replace that BlackBerry because it gets ruined. But yeah, he got fired and then he's drunk, and then so Nick Kroll decides to do the orgy because he's like, what else do I have to lose?
Yeah, because I think it's like, oh, that job took away my 20s. Now it's not going to take away my 30s. So now I'm gonna
Right.
live in the moment and do this thing.
I guess that's one of the better motivations for the orgy thing. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think so.
I have trouble with Nick Kroll on a good day.
Um,
Honestly, there's
he's
something about him I just find very off putting.
you could take him or leave him. I know like a lot of
Yeah.
people are crazy about him just because I think they found out he comes from money. Like his dad's like a literal billionaire or something
Oh,
like that.
I had no idea.
Yeah,
Okay.
look it up. His dad has
Nick Kroll's a
money.
nepo baby.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of like. I mean, his dad's not
Hmm.
in like the business, but
Okay.
he's. I want to say he's like a security firm or something like that. He heads up a.
Okay. Let's see. His father is a billionaire businessman who founded the corporate investigations and risk consulting firm Kroll Incorporated. He's the youngest child in his family. Okay. Oh, well, I had no idea. I had no
Yeah.
idea.
So there you go.
I just know him from his work, and I've never totally warmed to Nick Kroll. And I'm
Yeah.
not saying he's like without talent or anything, but I feel like Nick Kroll, like on paper, I look at his resume and I'm like, I should fucking love this guy. And he's like worked with John Mulaney a lot,
Oh yeah. Well, they met in
but
college.
yeah, but something about Nick Kroll I just find like, you know,
Um, I get it. I don't know. I've seen his
yeah,
comedy. Like he did some funny stuff on like Reno 911 and whatnot. But yeah, like
yeah,
I mean, but again, I know I haven't seen his comedy specials or anything like that, or when he
right,
had
yeah.
his
I don't really seek him out.
yeah.
Maybe it's just like maybe it's just something about his face. I feel like it's more my problem than him.
He has like a punchable face.
Maybe, yeah, maybe
Mhm.
it's that.
Okay. But yeah, like
So
I never watched Kroll's show when that was on,
I
but
watched a bit of it. It never, yeah, it
yeah,
never sent
it's
me in a big way. Like I said, I'm very hit and miss with Nick Kroll.
yeah, like I like and plus yeah, I don't think you're alone. Like I know
Yeah.
like when Key and Peele were the thing, I remember everybody was talking about it. When
Yeah.
Chappelle Show was a thing. Everybody was talking about it. Kroll Show?
Right. Kroll Show was never the trendy show.
No.
And I remember, after Amy Poehler got divorced from Will Arnett, she dated Nick Kroll for about 2 years, apparently. And my first reaction to that was like, he's not cool enough to date Amy Poehler. And which is so stupid. On my part, because it's like, I don't know either of these people. I don't know what their real personalities are like. He's probably a very charming, intelligent guy, but
you had
but because I was a fan of Amy Poehler's and not so much of Nick Kroll's, it was like, he's not cool enough to date her. He doesn't deserve an Amy Poehler.
You had that Joe Jackson song, "Is She Really Going Out with Him?" playing in your mind.
Kind of, yeah.
Is she really gonna take him home tonight? Oh, Nick Kroll. All right, that's our Nick Kroll rant.
Do you want to sing more Joe Jackson? It seemed like that's the direction you were going into.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
It's I'm one verse in and out.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So,
have you noticed that when you sing, I hardly ever join in with you?
I have noticed that, and that's fine.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. Hey,
okay.
Let's one day I'm gonna sing the right song that you won't be able to resist, but to join in and sing one day.
I'm not a big singer, Darren.
We'll find out, my friend. I'm gonna find the song that unlocks your heart.
Okay. I mean, you'll probably need alcohol for that, but okay.
Done. That's not a problem.
Okay.
Oop, I need alcohol for everything. So Adam is in. Allison is in. She announces at the wedding.
Right.
And it seems like
have we mentioned that Allison, like Belle's character, is a therapist or a psychologist?
I don't think we have. It comes
and
up
she's got like
bit.
this super messed up personal life too. So she's like a mess. And she decides, like, kind of impulsively at the wedding reception for Will Forte and Lucy Punch. She's like, "Yeah, you know what? What the hell? I just broke up with my boyfriend. I'm in for Labor Day." And then because she clinks her glass before she makes this announcement to her table, everyone thinks she's making a toast, and they fall silent in the wedding. And like Belle's a little drunk, she's like, "And I'm shaved." And ha.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Like that, when you clink your glass at a wedding, it's just everybody's going to be quiet. That's just like a known thing. So
that's like the etiquette of weddings. And I'm like, even if you're super drunk, I don't think you forget that.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just so many of the sort of big moments in this, they just didn't really work for me at all. I didn't find this movie very funny. I didn't find it sexy or anything. It was just kind of a slog for me because most of the characters I found very unlikable.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even that long a movie too.
I know it's only like an hour and a half, and I'm like, I'm checking the time constantly in this, and I'm like, okay, I got like 40 minutes left. I got 30 minutes left. I got 20 minutes.
All right. Well, here let's talk about the sex club scene. That was pretty funny, right?
Not really. Okay. I was very disengaged with the movie at this point.
Oh wow! All right. So,
there's a lot more we should cover for the wedding. Is like Will Forte and Lucy Punch, because they were getting married and they have a kid. Their group of friends didn't come to them and say, "Hey, we're planning this," and they're kind of mad that they weren't included. Right. So they come up to them at the wedding, and they're like, "Hey, why didn't you at least invite us?" And it's not that they necessarily wanted to go, but they wanted to be invited. Yeah. And I get that impulse.
Exactly.
It's nice to be invited to a party, even if you don't plan to go to that party. You want to feel wanted.
Exactly. Just like, hey, just put out that invite to that sex party and just let me know.
Yeah. So, by the way, is it a common wedding thing to have the bride and groom just sitting at a small table by themselves?
Actually, yeah, it is.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think I've ever been to a wedding where they did that, and I'm like, that seems weird to me. Because is it just everybody goes up and they do the receiving line that way?
Yeah, for the most. Yeah, I've seen it at a bunch of weddings. Like it's usually that it's like the two of them sit at their own little table and people come up to them. Or I mean, you could sit at like a table with just your loved ones surrounding you. But yeah, the
Yeah,
whole
I'm used to like it being a long table, and then you have the bridal party and the groomsmen on either side of them. So you're there and you're talking to your people. It just seems weird to have the couple isolated at their own little thing. But
yeah, I mean, there's a couple ways you can do it, but like you could do it that way, or you could do it with just the two of them at a table.
which did you do?
Oh Jesus, what do I I think I did it the way you talked about, where it's like me, my wife, and then like bridesmaids and groomsmen.
You don't remember? This was the greatest day of your life, Darren
I'm
Patterson.
pretty sure it was
What the
that.
hell, man?
Hey man, come on.
Don't you have pictures of this day?
I'm sure they're around. Yes.
Okay.
I gotta. I'll look.
Break out that wedding album, my friend.
Yeah, just dust it off. I'm pretty sure. I'm like pretty kind of. I think that's it. Yes. Final
I
answer.
bet your wife remembers.
Oh. Oh no.
It's okay. She doesn't listen to the podcast.
No, God no.
Yeah. No, she doesn't care for one of the hosts.
Yes. Oh boy. Wow. All right. Here we go. All right. Let's talk about this.
I didn't say which.
Okay. Let's talk about this sex club part here, because
Okay, so Sudeikis and what's his face? Yeah,
yeah, they go off to do some recon work. So
right.
they go. I guess Mike's he gets an address of a place of a sex club that's happening inside this mattress store. So they drive out
called
there.
Fred's Beds.
Fred's Beds. So
how did they're very vague about how he heard about this?
I think it's because the guy that heads it up is his uncle, I believe.
Oh, okay, and that turns out to be David Koechner, right?
Yes, David Koechner, who plays Vic.
Okay, so that was his uncle. I thought they were related somehow, and I was like, is he his father? Is he his uncle? I didn't feel invested enough to rewind to confirm which he was. I was just like, okay, they're related.
Like at first I thought it was like a friend of the family, but like according to Wikipedia, that's his uncle.
Okay.
Who's into some
and Koechner's got an impressive beard in this.
Yes.
I'm guessing it's a fake beard, but it looks good on him. It looked good for his character.
It does. Like when they first meet Vic, he's in mid coitus and has a full beard, captain's hat, and wearing a kimono, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. The classiest look of
that's probably a good orgy outfit, I would guess.
I would assume so. You want something with easy access.
Yeah, and, you have a little flexibility. You're good to go.
Yeah, captain hat. Let everybody know you're in charge.
Captain hat. It's a little stylish.
Absolutely.
Red kimono. It's commanding color. Yeah, it's a good choice.
Good choice. Whilst he's in the midst of Il Flagrante Delicto, and as he's about to arrive, he tells Tyler to count me in, and it's like, and he counts 5, 4.
Count me down. Yeah.
Count me down, and it says 5, 4. Go back to 10. Go back to 10. I don't know.
And then he counts down to like 7, and then he has his moment, and
hey now,
and it's like, well, yeah, he could have kept counting from 5, but that was cute. And then the other big gag is like when they're on their way out, and Sudeikis and Mike, they're just there to observe because they want to get like tips, because like they decided on this orgy like 8 weeks out or something. They decided this like at the beginning of the summer, shortly after the 4th of July, and they have till Labor Day, so it's about a 2-month time frame.
Right.
It's a lot of planning involved.
It's not. It ain't easy.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. And then on the way out, he sees
Dodie,
Leslie Bibb's mother there. Dodie.
Yeah, because she's down with the freak shit.
Yeah, and she's doing like this dominatrix style thing, and they of course meet eyes, and it's just like, oh, haha, didn't expect to see you here, haha, how unexpected.
Yeah. Because she's an old lady. She's down with the
they're not sexual.
Oh God.
Well, I mean that's what the joke is basically. It's this unexpected person we didn't expect to have a sex drive. No, they actually have a very active sex life. Ha ha ha.
Get it?
just so many types of gags I've seen in a million other movies. So
Yeah, I hear you.
you want a comedy to surprise you, like okay, this is going back a ways, but like when the 40-Year-Old Virgin came out, it was surprising. That movie surprised you in places, right?
It did, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of old hat now because it's like close to 20 years old now, but like nobody'd seen anything like the chest waxing scene. The speed dating thing was very of the moment. Uh, they did some original stuff. I don't think this movie's doing much of anything original,
No, I think. I mean, all the shocking original thing, I guess, is in the title because it
Yeah,
doesn't
I
really.
love the title. I think it's a great attention getting title, and then the movie itself was very cliched.
Yeah, very much so. Just not a lot of teeth. I mean, we'll get into it too, but like
Well, you don't want to use a lot of teeth in an orgy. I
oh
think.
Jesus, no, oh
Yeah,
Lord,
I
let's
mean
take,
that just seems like a faux pas.
that's right. Take out the dentures.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I think we'll get to the reviews later at the end of the talk, but yeah,
Okay.
it didn't just have the
Did you
budget.
look up reviews?
There are a couple, yeah,
Oh,
just
okay.
on Wikipedia and stuff.
Okay, I'm getting on Rotten Tomatoes right now. Yeah,
Oh
I bet
boy,
there were some fun reviews.
some
But go on, please.
some doozies. So yeah, so as the everybody gets ready for the ORGY,
Hmm.
we see everybody kind of doing we get like a little bit of a montage there where people are watching porn and
Yeah, even
getting
Rocky had a
toys.
montage.
Yes, get, toys and dildos and whatnot,
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
we also see that what is it? Leslie Bibb's character and Sudeikis' character are dating more and more, and he's really liking her. And I think at one point he even tells Mike, "Yeah, I can see myself like actually having a relationship with her. Should I tell her about what we're doing?" And Mike says, "Like,
yeah,
no, don't do that because you'll think you're weird." And you like, and she says, like, if you guys just because like at this point all they've done is kiss, but so like
yeah,
they're not really official. So if that's all they've done and they haven't done the deed, then they're still technically both just single
yeah,
people.
yeah. Like Mike convinces Eric. He's like, yeah, it's as long as you haven't done anything yet, you can still go through with this with a clear conscience, and then you have a nice memory. And then if your relationship with the realtor Leslie Bibb goes the distance, it's all good.
Right, exactly.
Which, yeah,
Yeah, so it's a little bit of a wiggle room there. Yeah, so then the married couple, Glenn and Kate, they talk to them and say they want to be part of the orgy, and
hmm,
everybody says no, please, no, you don't, we are not invited.
right,
And then actually at this point, then we see that Kelly, Leslie Bibb's character, meets up with Sudeikis at the bar, and
hmm,
he's like kind of trying to he tells everybody who she is. Like, hey, this is Kelly, my realtor,
yeah.
everybody. And he quickly ushers her away because he doesn't want her to hear
Yeah,
stuff
and,
about
and then everybody in the friend group, they're like, they're all brandishing dildos at this bar restaurant thing because they brought them with them
yeah.
for some reason.
I mean, no shirts, no shoes, no service. Doesn't say anything about dildos.
I don't know. It's just like, I mean, just because you've decided to participate in an orgy among your friend group, that means immediately you're all bringing dildos with you wherever you go, and you're just like waving them around willy
Hell
nilly. It
yeah,
it seems like a weird choice.
it's
I'm
a
just saying.
choice. It's a choice. But yeah, so like now that Kelly and Eric have been going out a little bit, and also Eric kind of had ulterior motive because he wanted Kelly to like sort of slow down the sale of the house because there are people interested in buying the house, but he's like, can you just
Yeah, yeah. He's been like trying to sabotage the sale. He's like throwing away their realtor signs and things like that because he wants to hang on to the house for as long as possible. But he's not really trying to prevent the sale. He's just trying to delay it.
yeah,
So again, not high stakes.
yeah, again, yeah, not a lot of high
He's
stakes.
accepted that the house is going to sell, but he just wants to keep it for the entire summer.
Yeah,
So
exactly. I mean,
yeah, why
yeah,
do I care?
yeah, that's true. All right, so
just at so many points in this movie, I was like, why do I care?
yeah,
Am I supposed to root for them to have an orgy? Am I not supposed to? Am I supposed to be rooting for them to keep the house? They're
yeah,
not they're not like having an orgy and filming it to raise money to keep the house or anything.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, why didn't they do that? Why didn't they have like a big fundraiser
Yeah.
to save up enough money to buy the house?
Because like Don Johnson early on, he's like, "Well, hey, do your friends want to make an offer on the house?" And Sudeikis is like, "No, we can't do that. That's not possible." Uh,
But like, yeah,
so
like they
yeah,
could have done that. They could have like a Save the Rec Center type of thing, where they just
right,
had like this one huge blowout, or even just had the orgy and just like charged people to be a part of it, and
yeah.
like made enough money for like a down payment or
I
something.
mean, then that's more like
Oh,
prostitution, I
was
suppose.
that
But
that how brothels work? Oh, okay, got it.
yeah, I think so. I think so. Like do you remember that Kevin Smith movie Zack and Miri Make a Porno?
Yes, I
I mean,
do.
I haven't seen it since it was out, but as I recall, like they were both in dire financial straits, and that was the thing that motivated them to like, we are going to make a porn film, even though neither one of us are porn stars.
Right.
So as I recall, they were in dire straits. So
Yeah.
I don't
There's
know. Yeah, so it's just we're just doing this because we want a big blowout for the last party, and we're bored, and some of us have unresolved feelings for each other and want to fuck, but we
yeah. Like it
but
was.
but but we can't fuck each other now. We will just make plans to fuck each other 6 to 8 weeks from now.
Yes. We'll pencil it in on the date on the
I don't know.
calendar.
It's a weird way for 30-year-olds to act, I think.
Yeah, that's oh wow. Now I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I think you're right. Like they should have. I mean, again, I said there's no real conflict here, no real urgency. But like, yeah, they. I mean, there is a little bit of like the inner, I guess, conflict that happens within
Yeah.
the group, but that gets resolved fairly quickly.
But if you're like a big circle of friends, like I mean, wouldn't you do it, wouldn't this be like more of an impulsive thing?
Yeah, yeah, I suppose so. Hmm. But yeah, like I don't know. The more I think about the whole thing, where they should have just done like a big fundraiser, save the rec center thing, just made all this money. Like their goal was to be, we want to make enough money to buy my dad's house so we can have summer all forever. Like that.
Hmm.
That would have been like, okay, they have a goal that they want to achieve, and like that's we'll see if they achieve that goal, and that's where the drama and conflict comes in. But
Yeah. Here, like I said, I didn't care if any of these people had sex with each other or not. I mean,
right.
I liked the Jason Sudeikis and Leslie Bibb together. I thought they had a decent chemistry, and I was like, I would watch a romantic comedy with just these two, of just
Yeah,
these two like kind of gradually falling in love. But even his conflict of, oh, I'm catching feelings for Leslie Bibb, and yet I also have this orgy thing. It doesn't turn out to be that big of a conflict because
not really. 'Cause-
yeah,
well, let's get to it. So Labor Day
yeah,
weekend, it's the orgy. Um,
right.
they're all dressed
The
in.
designated date for their orgy because
Yes,
they all put it in their planners.
that's right.
I,
That's
I
right.
guess
I can't move
Nick
it.
Kroll has a new BlackBerry at this point. Presumably, he puts like orgy in big letters on
Yeah,
this
big
on this
block letters.
early September date.
Yeah. It's a Kama Sutra theme, so they're all dressed, like they're from India. And
Which that honestly played kind of not
yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
kind
I,
of.
I don't know if it was okay in 2000. It's very my culture is not a costume type of vibe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they even go one step further when Glenn and Kate try to crash it, and they're dressed
Yeah,
as Native Americans.
yeah. I thought that was kind of a cute idea where they were like, oh, the theme is Indians, but they're the wrong kind of Indians because they were just so clueless.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody's in like brown face or anything like that, but
Yeah. No,
it was still like, why are we all in like the Nehru jackets and the and the turbans, and
it's Kama Sutra, baby.
it was a weird choice,
Yeah,
and
a little
yeah,
bit.
it didn't.
A little bit. So yeah, so then the group of friends that drink some absinthe, so they can kick
Mm,
this thing off right,
yeah,
and then they try to figure out. All right, so how do we start this? What do we do now?
yeah,
And it kind of like it's very awkward as they knew it would be.
yeah.
Duquesne kind of backs out, like, oh, no, I don't want to do this anymore. I can't do this, and then they kind of like, oh,
Yeah, yeah. His well, like Mike, like kind of whips off whatever he's wearing. He's wearing like bikini briefs that I think they were leopard print.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I'm gonna get the party started. And he's like, you two ladies start kissing, and I'm gonna start touching myself. And I mean, he's that uncouth about it.
Yeah. But then like as the more and more comfortable it gets, the more the group of friends kind of, push away and like,
Yeah.
be like, hey, back off, man. Get it, and then like they kind of reveal things about each other. But like apparently at one point, like Eric and Allison hooked up after Allison.
Yeah, Jason Sudeikis and Lake Bell. Yeah, they hooked up at one point, and that pisses off Sue because she has the unresolved feelings for Sudeikis.
Right. And then Allison lets it out that Sue is obsessed with her, and Eric's like, "Oh, I didn't know that." And again, like you can kind of see that, like I don't know how we missed that because it was pretty obvious that.
And you know what? Honestly, in it's a group of friends. They've known each other since high school. They're all like around 30, so they've known each other for, let's say, 15 years. There should be more hookups among this group of friends, right?
Yeah, like I think they mentioned that, like maybe in high school, like some stuff might have happened. I mean, well, Eric and Sue dated, but yeah,
Leslie Sloan during the gear up to the orgy, she's like, "Oh, I actually one time I walked in on one of the guys pleasuring himself, and he's got like a huge thing, but she doesn't say which guy, and it's like." You're going to have an orgy with these people in a few weeks. Why are you being coy about this?
I'll never tell.
Say the person's name.
Yeah.
But I think the only reason is just to surprise the audience. And then you're like, oh, I didn't expect that guy to have the huge hog.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I guess I was like, all right, I guess that's the big surprise.
And it's not really a shock because it's like the last person
you expect,
and then everybody reacts, and they're like, "Oh, well, he's really well hung."
Hey, now,
oh, okay.
He's got himself a big old pack of meat.
Yeah, don't finish the sentence.
Absolutely. Okay. All right. Well, I did. I did. Now what?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just move on as quickly as possible.
Okay. All right. So that everybody kind of laughs at each other. Duquesne thinks Mike's antics are kind of lame because like they kind of see him as somebody who just follows around Eric. Like a little pet, which bums out Mike. Which
yeah, he gets a little too real. It hits home.
Exactly. Yeah. And then he just it seems like everybody's kind of down on this thing right now. So then at one point, Eric kind of says, "Oh, I'm just going to step out to get a breath of fresh air." And he ends up leaving and going to Kelly's place. I think he realizes how much he really likes her.
Yeah, he goes over to Leslie Bibb's place. Yeah, he doesn't want to go through with it because he's catching feelings for Leslie Bibb, as you do.
As you do.
And then he goes over to her house, and she's like, "Oh, you're here." And he's like, "Yeah, I didn't call first." And she's on a date.
Yikes.
With some other dude.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It doesn't really play like this big betrayal. It's like they never said they were exclusive. They say in the movie they never said they were exclusive, so it's not like she's cheating on him.
No.
And it's not like he's suddenly been idealizing her and his relationship with her all this time.
Yeah, and plus he's doing
and he's been keeping an orgy secret from her.
Yeah, so like no one's in the wrong here.
Yeah. And I also didn't like this plot twist. One, because I thought it was kind of a lame plot twist, but two, it was like, Leslie Bibb was like the only person I unreservedly liked in this movie. And now I don't like her quite as much, even though, she's perfectly within her rights to date some other dude.
Right, absolutely.
I don't know. It's weird. Again, no real stakes. They're not exclusive or anything. She has a guy over to her place and they've ordered pizza.
Yeah, you can do that. You can.
Yeah,
feel free.
You're allowed. But because and the only reason we know it's like a date thing is because she acts weird about it.
Yeah, that's true.
If she was just like, "Oh, this is my friend Bob."
Yeah, no. It's very obvious they're on a date.
Yeah. But I'm just saying she could have played that. If she was more of a liar, she could have played that off.
It's like, "Oh no, this is my cousin. Yeah, that's it. That's the ticket."
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So then after that, Eric gets really embarrassed. Like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. It's totally fine. Totally fine. And then he goes back
Right.
to the house, and all his friends are there, and he confesses to his friends, like, like how he's had some of the greatest times of his life in his house, and he really is going to miss it. And he loves you guys. He loves, he tells them he loves them, and then
Right.
they go for a group hug, and throughout all this good feelings and absence.
Well, the one couple splits off. Which couple was it? Because I stopped taking notes at this point.
It might have what? Wait a minute, Duquesne and Willow.
Was it? Yeah, it was Martin Starr and Willow.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're getting together, and I think that kind of inspires some of the other people to like
Right, because
start making out and getting a little physical.
Right, because then Allison and Mike start hooking up and making out.
It's mostly just them splitting off into couples, and then there's some partner switching later on.
Yes, absolutely.
So I guess it does count as an orgy in that way, but it's not. I don't know. The cliche of an orgy is it's like a big mass of people, and they're all
big
together
and big mountain of flesh
stuff. But I suppose logistically it is more just like you split off into various couples, and you're just like you're all having sex in the same room. Or something.
I mean, if you crunch the numbers, you can't. It's
I don't know. You might have been able to tell from this. We have never been in orgies.
Yeah, like look, listeners. I know we give off the super cool rock and roll vibe here on the SNL Nerds.
Yeah, I know the guys, the two guys who run a podcast about Saturday Night Live, a show that airs late Saturday nights, and we have nerds in the podcast title. I'm sure you're thinking, yeah, these guys, Paul.
Yes,
these guys have all sorts of orgies.
Yeah, we run through Beeve like nobody's business.
Yeah, but we got the sex bracelets and the stuff. No, not so much.
Yeah, not so much. We're kind of prudish about things like that. We're
kind of repressed.
Yes,
there's a reason we went into stand-up comedy, and
absolutely.
Yeah.
I just want me, one woman, lights off. 5 minutes. Apologies, crying, going to sleep.
Sure. Yeah. That's the dream.
That's the dream.
Yeah.
That's the dream. 2 pumps and I'm out.
Took it a little too far.
I'm sorry. I thought we were talking. This locker room talk.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, there's
so now the
like on the Wikipedia page, when it breaks down the characters, it breaks down like who has sex with who, which I really wasn't taking notes on. So it says like like Belle is Allison. She says in the orgy she has sex with Mike, Sue, and Eric. And
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, and then Sue, she has sex with Eric, Allison, and Adam. Nick Kroll's Adam, and he hooked up with Leslie Sloane's character Laura.
Right, because the two of them are the two kind of...
We see them kind of pairing off because they're the two prudish people. And I remember Lindsay Sloane's character Laura. She's like, "Oh, don't worry, I've never had an orgasm, so I'm all just about giving pleasure to guys." And then, of course, she successfully has an orgasm before the end of the orgy. What? Oh, plot twist.
Yeah, I did see that coming. I will give you that.
Yeah, we all saw it coming.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. Because they show a lot of the orgy.
They do.
It doesn't like suddenly become a porno, but it's sort of like a montage when we see Tyler Labine as Mike. He's coming in with like different drinks each time, and then everyone reacts. That's kind of how they cut it all together.
Right. It's like tequila, then sake, mojitos, and then I think they work their way down to like tonic water.
Something like that. Yeah. So it gave them a device to cut all this stuff together.
Yeah, absolutely. So then the next morning happens. Everybody's kind of, reminiscing on
they're all in the afterglow.
Yeah. There's T-shirts that were made up by Mike.
Yeah. again, weird choice. They say like, where are we going to wear these? And he's like, everywhere. Oh, okay, that's again weird choice. Weird
It's a
choice.
conversation starter for sure.
I guess so. I guess so. At least it's just text. It's not like a picture or anything. But
Right, absolutely.
yeah,
So yeah, and so throughout all this, Adam and Laura got closer. While the guys go to
yeah,
the beach, they want to stay back and just like do crossword puzzles and whatnot. So we
right.
see
And
that
and Adam, no, but Adam decides to go to the beach because he's like a hypochondriac. He's like, I'm not going to go to the beach. There are ticks in the sand, and
needles.
yeah, and so he's too uptight to even go to the beach.
Yeah, but like at the end, he does go to the beach, and at the end,
Right.
Laura shows up in a bikini, which was a thing she didn't want to do earlier in the movie because she's all self
Yeah,
conscious.
they said something like she'd lost a lot of weight,
Yeah,
and so she's still very self conscious about her body. A very sketched in sort of subplot.
yeah, it didn't really have that big a payoff, really.
Yeah, and I don't think they ever referenced to like how much heavier she was or show a picture of her back in the
Yeah,
day or
a
anything.
lot of just
I don't know.
admitting.
Like most other movies, they would have put the actress in a fat suit or CGI'd like up a picture of her in high school where you see she's more heavy set or something.
Not
I don't
this
know.
one.
They just talk about it, and it's not very interesting to just tell and not show, especially in a movie called The Good Old Fashioned Orgy.
Yeah, show that shit.
I don't know. This movie just made a lot of weird choices, you know?
Yeah, yeah, it did. So like at the end, we see them all hanging out at the beach. They're closer. They're big. They're better friends
Yeah.
now. We see Kelly at the beach again. She talks to Eric, saying, "Hey, about last night." And Eric's like, "You know what? Let's pretend whatever happened last night didn't happen. Let's just start clean slate. I'm Eric. Hello,
Start
how are you
fresh.
doing?
Yeah.
Start fresh." So then they just start anew and just pick up their relationship.
I
From
mean, I
there.
guess the one thing that's not cool is, if you're dating other people, you should probably just be upfront about that and be like, "Hey, just so you know, this isn't an exclusive thing. I am seeing other people." But on the other hand, Eric keeps an orgy secret from her.
Yeah, and
And I don't think he tells her before the end of the movie,
he
does he?
doesn't. No, see that, and that's the thing I thought about this movie, where like usually you thought there'd be some conflict where she finds out about
Yeah.
it, and then that would bring
Yeah.
tension. But like no, he gets
Usually
that.
in a movie like this, the truth comes out, and
Not this one.
yeah, Leslie Bibb would be understandably horrified. But yeah, like now it's just she's just starting a relationship with this dude who had sex with, I think, three of his female friends over the
Yeah,
course of the movie.
and he doesn't tell
Oh,
her. No one else
in
is.
one night.
Yeah, so,
Um,
and no one else is gonna tell her. So he literally had his cake and ate it too. And Kelly goes on to say, "Oh yeah, like just to let you know, so like the buyers that were
yeah,
going to buy the house, because I slowed it down, that kind of scared them. So now they totally pulled out. So now no one's going to
right.
buy your dad's
Pulled
house.
out.
So hooray, they get to keep the house for another summer, and that's it. It
The more we've talked about this movie, the less I even like this movie. And I didn't like this movie to begin with. You thought it was okay, you said.
I said it was okay, but like now I'm talking
Yeah.
about it, it is. It's like it is. Yeah, there are kind of bigger holes and issues with this movie now that I really think about it.
Yeah,
I
it's
thought it
a
was charming enough the first time. I did like the David Koechner scenes, uh, but yeah,
I
like the
mean,
more I
yeah,
think about it,
Keckner did a good job at his small part where he just was yeah, he made the most of his little his small role in the film. There is some interesting info on the development of this on Wikipedia. It says it was long in development with writers Gregory and Hook, beginning writing the script as early as 1997 while they were writers on the television series The Larry Sanders Show. The concept of the film was based upon a story told by a fellow writer concerning a party he had attended in the Hollywood Hills that ended in an impromptu orgy. Skeptical about the amount of truth to the story and believing that people would be too full of shame, fear, and guilt to make a successful orgy happen, it nevertheless inspired Gregory and Huck. The pair believed that the concept would make for an interesting ensemble comedy, due in part to the powerful emotions that such a sexually charged situation would entail. The characters were all based on them and their own friends. And um, I like this. It says Gregory and Huck brought their first draft to their current TV agent, who advised them to progress no further with the idea and abandon the project. I don't know who that TV agent was, but give that man a raise. Give that agent a raise.
Very nice.
Undaunted, the pair circulated the early draft and met with several producers to assemble a production team. And when they were talking about casting, they were initially thinking Vince Vaughn for the lead role.
Oh,
and yeah, I could totally see Vince Vaughn in that role.
So he was definitely doing like a Vince Vaughn impression.
Yeah, he was a Vince Vaughn type of character, and it said that he ultimately did not take part in the film, of course, but he gave them some good input when they were reworking the script. Gregory stated, Vince Vaughn gave us a single best piece of advice about the movie. We were trying to make a generational movie, and he suggested that in order to make something universally resonant, you need to make it specific and personal. It's counterintuitive, but he was right. We were both really pretty square, which is why we think this is such an uncomfortably funny idea. If we were Orgy guys, this would have been a hyper-realistic drama. And yeah, I get the comedy of about a bunch of like uptight and repressed people trying to have an orgy, but I don't think they really did much with that premise, and I don't think they really escalated it. It did, like we've been saying, the movie didn't have much in the way of stakes.
Yeah, like I mean, exactly, no real stakes. They didn't really dig too much into the, I don't want to say drama, but like, conflict.
Yeah.
I mean, I keep saying that word over and over again. But like, there really wasn't that much conflict.
I keep saying douchebags. It's okay.
Yeah. Okay, but yeah, like they could have really dug into kind of what the characters were really going through, what this really was about. Like, I mean, they touched on the fact that they're getting older and aging. They talk about like foot cramps and whatnot.
Oh yeah, he gets earlier in the film, Sudeikis says like, I once got a foot cramp when I was masturbating, and then like during the orgy, when he's with Sue and he's having like this emotional moment with Sue, he has a foot cramp. When they're
and that's even kind of.
I mean, that's not much of a payoff, right?
Not really. No, it kind of went on for a little too long. I was like, all right.
Yeah. Also, I don't really need to see close-ups of people's feet on screen.
I mean, tell Tarantino that he'll.
Yeah, I know.
Story.
I've tried telling Tarantino. I've tried telling Joss Whedon. I'm just like, I don't care about your foot fetishes. If if I could push a button to never see someone's bare feet on screen, I do not get. I do not get that.
Yeah, it's, hey man.
I mean, look, be into what you're into. That's great. I don't ever want to see people's feet.
Hey man, whatever you like, you like.
I don't even like people. I don't even like seeing people wear sandals.
Exactly. Not even Crocs.
No. Well, those are hideous to begin with.
But ankles.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, this movie came out, like I said, it pretty much bombed. According to Rotten Tomatoes, the site's critical consensus reads, its titillating title promises ribald laughs, but the lazily written...
Or ribald rafts.
But the lazily written, indifferently acted, and only sporadically funny film fails to consummate.
Yeah. This is kind of interesting. Apparently, Sudeikis was cast in this movie when he was still just a writer at SNL.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But when they saw him acting on 30 Rock, they were convinced that Sudeikis would be perfect for the role. And when they were interviewing casting directors, Susie Ferris stated her first choice for the role would also be Sudeikis, resulting in her being hired. And I mean, it's a decent role for Sudeikis, and it very much fits his screen persona at the time, where he was like sort of smarmy, jerky guy who got very sexual. Like we talked about this a bit last episode, where that was kind of his brand at first.
Yeah.
He did this. He did Hall Pass. He did that other movie that we covered, Sleeping with Other People.
Yes, yeah.
And I think Sudeikis has been a bit of a ladies' man in his time. So I see but it's really weird in a post Ted Lasso world to kind of see Sudeikis playing this type of part,
Yeah, no, I get it. The stories of him and his escapades are pretty well known, but yeah.
Well, I know he dated Scarlett Johansson. I know he dated January Jones, and he of course had a long relationship with Olivia Wilde.
My man.
They've had kids together. and there are probably other people he's dated that I'm forgetting about. But
Yeah,
eh,
absolutely. But yeah, it seems like after Ted Lasso, he's kind of switched it around. I guess he didn't want to be like
yeah.
stunt casted or typecasted rather as
Well,
just
I
that
mean,
guy.
I think it was great how he rebranded himself, and he just leaned into the sincerity of that character, and he did that beautifully, and he was just wonderful in that, and I think he did some great acting in that. So
Yeah,
it's weird to like look back at a time when he was just like trying to be the funny Bill Murray guy, and
yeah, no,
he
absolutely.
works much better as the Ted Lasso type character. I'd like to see him go a little more in that direction, though.
Yeah, exactly. Like it shows a little bit more depth and whatnot. I kind of was hoping
Hmm.
to see that something like that in this movie, where maybe that was it. Just it seemed I just wanted to see a little bit more depth in all the characters, and it seemed like all very
Yeah,
surface
it's just
level.
yeah. I mean, you'd think like if this situation were real, like at least one of the people in this big group of friends would be like really freaked out,
Yeah,
uh, or they would have regrets and they'd be like, "Oh, we shouldn't have done that," or
yeah,
I
but
don't know, something. There are no stakes. There aren't any real consequences. It's just
yeah,
they all end up having an orgy. They all seem to have a pretty good time.
yeah. And I guess
Everybody seems to be on the same page.
yeah, there's no repercussions. Everybody's cool with it, and
Yeah, Leslie Bibb never finds out about the whole thing, which is really pretty creepy when I think about it.
yeah. I mean, I in my mind, I hope he comes out and tells her later on, but I
Yeah, but
mean,
there's no indication that he's going to,
no,
is
no,
there?
no, not at all.
But it's like, well, I forgive you for having pizza with that other guy. And you, I'm sure, will forgive me for having sex with three of my female friends. And she's like, wait, what?
Nothing. Goodbye.
Nothing. Goodbye. Like I was saying, I forgive you for the pizza thing. But don't do it again.
Oh boy.
That's a scene I'd like to see.
Yeah, let's see what that scene's about. Absolutely, and
Anyway, yeah, this was disappointing.
yeah, I would agree. Like
Yeah.
they had a very strong cast, but I just the material just really wasn't there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know. And that's our episode, guys. Listeners, let us know what you thought about the movie. Are we wrong? Are we crazy? Are we spot on?
No, we are not. It's not a good movie.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, feel free to send your opinions, but yeah, I don't think my mind's going to be changed on this one. This isn't like a hidden classic or anything. I think it's pretty deservedly forgotten.
Yeah, pretty much. It's kind of one of those films. I remember it coming out and kind of leaving the theaters fairly quickly too.
Yeah, yeah,
But
and like and I didn't really have any expectations of this going in. Like a thing I've been doing lately is I've been trying to watch the films we've been doing on here cold, and a lot of times I'm not even watching the trailer first
mhm.
because a movie's more likely to surprise me that way. And this one, it was just so damn predictable.
Yeah. Yeah,
Anyway,
but that's the film, and yeah, thanks for listening to the episode, guys. As always, you could
mhm,
follow us on Twitter because we don't want to
mhm.
call it X at SNL Nerds Show, and you can follow me on all the platforms at Darren Credible, Darin Credible.
And you can follow me on the various social media platforms of your choice at Trumbull Comic, TRUMBULL, and the word comic.
Okay, and yeah,
So what are we doing next week? We got to, it's always, I always feel a little down when we watch a movie and it's not everything we hoped it might be. So I want to watch something up. I want to watch something bubbly that's going to make me feel good. I want to watch something I like, Darren.
okay, so let's do that. Let's clean off this filth. Let's
Okay,
let's get clean and scrub up and watch a
right.
movie from the past, a movie from
Yes.
I don't know, maybe 1991. I don't
Ooh, the
know.
long ago past of 1991. Ooh,
Oh,
what was going on back then?
oh, a young.
I was 19 without a care in the world.
I was. Jeez, I was. What was I? I was in junior
I
high.
probably had cares in the world, but it seems like I didn't because
Yeah,
I'm looking back on it.
I was in junior high school. I had many cares,
Yeah,
and just living my best life, trying to get enough money to buy a starter jacket.
a starter
Yeah,
jacket.
starter the early '90s. That's when like starter and cross colors were the thing.
Were starters like those multicolored jackets? What?
No, starter were like the it's like those jackets that have like Chicago Bulls on it and like a lot of college teams on it, like the
Okay.
Georgetown Hoyas and
Like a
whatnot.
lot of patches?
No, yeah, they would have a big patch on the side, but then they'd have like, uh, you know, some other teams on, like Chicago Bulls.
Okay.
Like
Is starter referring to the style or was it a brand name?
Uh,
Because I've just never heard this before.
really, it's a brand name. Starter clothes.
Okay.
It was a big deal in the '90s. Like everybody had,
All right.
like it was back when everybody was wearing Chicago Bulls gear. Even if you didn't live in Chicago, you had a Chicago Bulls like hoodie or tank top or something. Like because like that's what everybody
All right.
loved. Jordan.
I'm looking. Okay, I'm looking on the starter website now.
Right.
Okay, so it's a lot of sports logos and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so no wonder I'm not a part of this world.
Yeah, well, I'm from the streets, John, so I might know a few.
No, I get it. I get it. You're from Brooklyn. We've heard.
Represent all day, every day.
Yeah.
But yes, 1991. We're going to talk about the little movie called Soap Dish.
Soap Dish, starring, another stacked cast in this one. Our SNL connection, of course, is Mr. Robert Downey Jr., who was a cast member for a hot minute back in the mid 80s. And then that didn't work out so hot. So he was like, I'm going to go back and be a movie star. I'm going to be Iron Man someday.
That's right.
So he's in this. It's we got Sally Field, we got Kevin Kline, we got Elizabeth Shue,
got Whoopi Goldberg,
Kathy Moriarty, who I met last weekend.
Whoopi Goldberg.
We got Whoopi Goldberg. We got Carrie Fisher. We got Terry Hatcher.
Damn. Ben Stein. I don't know.
Ben Stein's in this? Wow.
Ben Stein is in this. Kathy Najimy's in this. Gary Marshall is in this.
Yeah.
Late great.
Yeah. Haven't seen this one in ages, but I remember it being good. It was, I think when this came out, I was still like working in movie theaters. So this is probably one I've watched a lot on my breaks in the theater. So there are probably like certain sections, like 10, 15-minute sections where I would watch this thing. Because like in your break in the theater, a lot of times you would just like go into the back of the theater and watch a certain segment of a movie.
Right.
Yeah. I did that a lot. At least that's what we did at my theater.
Okay.
Did you ever work in a movie theater, Darren?
Sadly, no. The closest I got was when I worked. I probably mentioned it on the podcast before. When I worked at the Virgin Megastore in Union Square, New York, and I worked in the video department. So, like, I was the guy that would slowly judge you on your DVD purchases as they rang you up.
Yeah, that's half the fun of that.
Yeah.
That's half the fun. Yeah, I worked at a Blockbuster and I did that, and I later in life worked in the music and DVD section of the Barnes and Noble, and I also did that. Yes.
Yeah. So like, you're buying. Okay. I guess it takes all kinds to like these type of films.
Yeah. You try not to judge people on their taste, but you're totally judging people on their taste.
Yeah. Like that's the only reason I took the job to feel superior.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it's all about, really. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this movie, I remember watching it a lot when I was a kid. I remember really digging it.
It used to pop up on TV a lot too. Yeah.
Like Channel 11 or TBS. It was on quite a bit. I remember really
your channel surfing on a Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah.
Soap Dish was on quite a bit in the late 90s.
Absolutely. So, so we're going to hop in the Wayback Machine and watch Soap Dish, folks. We're doing it. Yeah.
That we are. It's going to be fun. So, Soap Dish next week. Be there. I think we're going to enjoy it more than we enjoyed a good old-fashioned orgy. But we'll find out. We'll never know. Maybe it holds up horribly. We'll find out together. But until then, nerds out.
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit Non-Productive.com.